Long ago, after the gods had ended their great war with the Vani, a truce was sealed in a most unusual way. Both sides spat into a great vat, and from this mixture of divine spittle, they created a being, Kvesa, the wisest of all creatures. He was not a god, nor a giant, nor a mortal, but something greater. Kvesa possessed unmatched knowledge and the ability to answer any question. He traveled across the 9 worlds, sharing wisdom with gods, dwarfs, and men. But such a gift was dangerous, for there were those who sought to own knowledge rather than share it. One day, Kvesa was invited to visit the dwelling of 2 dwarven brothers, Fjela and Gala. These dwarfs, though skilled in craftsmanship, were cruel and cunning. Seeing Kvesa's wisdom as a treasure to be hoarded, they murdered him. From his blood, they brewed a special mead by mixing it with honey, creating the mead of poetry, Orrery. This enchanted drink had a miraculous effect. Anyone who drank it gained the gift of wisdom, eloquence, and poetic inspiration. With this, even the simplest fool could speak like a master poet or unravel the deepest mysteries of the cosmos. The dwarfs kept the mead hidden, but soon their greed led them to more treachery. They invited a giant, Gilling, and his wife to their home and cruelly drowned him. When the giantess wept for her slain husband, the dwarfs grew annoyed and killed her as well. But their crimes would not go unpunished. Gilling had a son, Suttungr, a fearsome giant with the strength of 100 warriors. When he learned of his parents' murder, he seized the dwarfs and threatened to drown them in the ocean, fearing for their lives. Fjela and Gala begged for mercy. In exchange for their freedom, they offered him the mead of poetry. Suttungr, realizing the mead's immense power, took it and hid it deep within a mountain called Nitjorg. There, he placed his daughter, Gunnlod, as its guardian, ensuring that no one could steal it. With this, Suttungr became the sole possessor of wisdom's greatest treasure, refusing to share it with anyone. The gods, poets, and scholars of the world longed for its magic, but the mead remained locked away, until Odin set his sights on it. Odin, the All-Father, was never content with the limits of his knowledge. He had already sacrificed an eye for wisdom, hung from Yggdrasil for 9 nights to discover the runes, and sought knowledge from the dead. But still, he hungered for more. The mead of poetry, the ultimate source of inspiration and intellect, had to be his, but Suttungr was no fool. The giant guarded the mead with unwavering vigilance. Odin knew that brute force would fail, so he turned to trickery. Disguising himself as a mortal wanderer, he traveled to the farm of Borgi, Suttungr's brother. There, he took on the name Bolverk, meaning evildoer. At the farm, he found 9 servants laboring in the fields, scything grass under the hot sun. Seeing an opportunity, Odin approached them and offered a magical sharpening stone. The moment they used it, their scythes cut better than ever before. Greedy for the stone, the farmhands fought among themselves, and in the chaos, they killed one another. With the workers gone, Odin went to Borgi and offered his services as a farmhand. He promised to do the work of all 9 men, but only if Borgi would grant him a drink of the mead of poetry. Borgi, seeing no other choice, agreed. For an entire season, Odin worked at Borgi's farm. He plowed fields, gathered crops, and toiled without rest, proving his strength and cunning. When winter arrived, he reminded Borgi of his promise. Borgi, however, was powerless to grant him the mead, for it belonged to Suttungr alone. But Odin would not be denied. Together, they traveled to Nitjorg, where the mead was kept. Finding the mountain sealed, Odin handed Borgi a drill named Rati and ordered him to bore a hole through the rock. The giant worked tirelessly, chipping away at the stone, but when Odin tested the hole, he found Borgi had tried to deceive him, drilling only partway through. Furious, Odin took the drill and finished the job himself. The hole was now complete, but the passage was too narrow for any ordinary man, so Odin transformed into a serpent. Slithering through the tiny opening, he slipped past the mountain's defenses, leaving Borgi behind. Deep inside the mountain, Odin found Gunnlod, Suttungr's daughter, standing guard over the mead. She was a beautiful and lonely giantess, bound by duty to protect the sacred drink. Odin, ever the charmer, used his wit and magic to seduce her. He whispered sweet words, sang songs of longing, and promised her love. Enchanted by his presence, Gunnlod fell for him, and for 3 nights, they lay together. As proof of her devotion, she allowed Odin to drink 3 gulps of the mead, but the trickster god was not one to waste an opportunity. With the first gulp, he emptied 1 vat, With the second, he drained the next. With the third, he swallowed the last drop. Now, all the mead of poetry was inside him. His mission was complete. But the danger was not over. The moment Odin took the mead, he transformed into a giant eagle and burst from the mountain, soaring toward Asgard at incredible speed. Suttungr, realizing he had been tricked, also turned into an eagle and took flight, chasing Odin with all his might. The two birds raced across the sky, their wings beating like thunder, their cries shaking the heavens. As Odin neared Asgard, the gods prepared for his arrival. They placed great vats at the edge of the sky, ready to catch the mead when Odin arrived. With one final burst of speed, Odin crossed into Asgard and spat the mead into the waiting vessels. Suttungr, unable to follow, fell back in defeat. However, in his haste, Odin let a few drops spill to Midgard, where they fell to the earth. These scattered drops became the source of inspiration for ordinary poets and storytellers, those who, while not divinely gifted, could still create beauty with words. Thus, Odin claimed the mead of poetry, granting it to the gods and those he deemed worthy. From then on, poets, seers, and wise men who drank from it gained divine inspiration, allowing them to compose songs, prophesize, and epics that would be remembered for ages. But the lesson of the tale remains: wisdom must be sought, and it is not freely given. It must be earned through cunning, effort, and sometimes a little trickery. And so, Odin, the All-Father, the Wanderer, the Trickster, became not just the god of war, but the god of poets, wisdom, and knowledge itself. The story of Odin stealing the mead of poetry is more than just an exciting myth. It carries deep wisdom about knowledge, creativity, and the pursuit of greatness. Here are the key lessons we can learn from this tale. Knowledge is not freely given, it must be earned. Odin did not simply receive wisdom, he had to work for it, scheme for it, and take risks. He toiled in the fields, outwitted giants, seduced Gunnlod, and risked his life in a desperate escape. If you want wisdom, success, or mastery, you must actively seek it. It requires effort, patience, and sacrifice. Great knowledge is often protected by barriers, whether by gatekeepers, tradition, or difficulty. Only those determined enough will break through. Suttungr, the giant, had great strength, but Odin defeated him with intelligence and strategy. He used trickery, persuasion, and shape-shifting instead of brute force. Intelligence and wit are often more powerful than strength alone. In life, the best solutions do not always come from direct confrontation. Sometimes, creativity and cleverness win the day. The mead of poetry was not just a drink, it granted the ability to speak beautifully, inspire others, and shape reality with words. Odin valued wisdom and poetry as much as he valued war and power. Words have tremendous power. They can inspire, persuade, and create change. Storytelling, poetry, and knowledge are as valuable as weapons and armies. In today's world, mastering communication and expression is a key to success. Suttungr wanted to keep the mead for himself, but Odin stole it and gave it to the gods and poets. Though he kept the best mead for the most gifted, even the spilled drops gave inspiration to ordinary people. True wisdom should be shared, not hidden away. The greatest teachers, leaders, and innovators are those who pass on knowledge to others. Odin took a great risk. He could have been caught, killed, or trapped forever. Yet, without that risk, he would never have gained the mead of poetry. Sometimes, achieving greatness requires stepping out of your comfort zone. Taking calculated risks can lead to incredible rewards. The story of Odin and the mead of poetry is a reminder that wisdom, creativity, and mastery are worth pursuing, but they are never handed to us freely. Those who are willing to seek, strive, and sacrifice for knowledge will be the ones who shape history.